Okay, the entry price for Max is 3.6. Okay, I'm going to pin that chart because I really want to check that out. And let's see how we can help. Please, where is the link to the room? A lot of you are asking for the link to the room. I just sent to you again. Max Short, FYC on any advice. Max Short, auto deleveraging is superb. It makes me trade without anxiety. That is beautiful. Okay, let's jump right in. You could keep sending in the chat. Just keep sending in and let's go through what to do about the markets. All right. So first is BTC has been able to break above, you could see over here, our zone. And we did say that this is a critical zone for BTC at 27,000. This is a kind of a moment of truth that we do decide to hold this zone and we find BTC breaking way above to this point of 31,000 over here. But if we do not hold this zone, we're expecting to go back down. Now, how down we can go, you cannot really tell for now. So as BTC is breaking above, we did say yesterday that we wanted to create a lot of long position. And the reason for that is that BTC money supply was super strong and it's still that strong. You could see it over here. It's not breaking. It's just super strong. We're still trading in our money cycle over here. Now, at this point of BTC money cycle is where we get to 31,000. Now, that is the point that we need to watch it for. But beyond that, we're still super strong at this level over here. So which is something really beautiful why we did see Bitcoin continue pumping despite all of the news of yesterday and everything. But there's something to note is that we're actually getting into the weekend. So we're going to be having the US waking up to see this pump. What's next normally do happen in such scenario is when you have the US trader wake up to see this level of pump in the market is that they do try to cash out into the weekend. So we could see a little bit decline in the price during the weekend. Today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that could also affect BTC. But that is just we predicting their behavior according to what they've always done. So we could also see BTC going up, but there's something to actually note despite the BTC movement is the altcoin money flow. Now the altcoin money flow, we did see yesterday that it's not receiving the same level of money flow like BTC. Now, a lot of time what does happen is BTC and altcoin is receiving the same money flow at the same time, or BTC does receive money flow, then altcoin kicks off. But generally in the altcoin money flow chart, you could see it is super weak, super weak, super choppy completely. So we're not looking into a lot of money going into altcoin, which is actually something to be worried about. This is why if BTC does a little bit drop, altcoin goes 3 times drop more. So that is something to be careful on, considering we are at a delicate zone for BTC. And if BTC does choose to not hold this zone, altcoins will be going really further down. So for guys who are in other altcoin trade like Wi-Fi, we want to go through those and want to see what we can do. Now, generally, what you would do in scenarios like this is a zone you want to stay out of naturally is that, okay, we want to watch what happens and we'll have a clearer picture by Monday. But the higher probability zone or decision to make from what we can see in the chart is to create some tiny bitty shorts into altcoin. We do have a larger probability of altcoin dumping than taking any other trade. Now, if we are taking an altcoin trade on the ground of altcoin dumping. We do have better security on that because the altcoin money flow is very, very short. So even if it does pump, it has a limited level of pump that it can go, as against longing the market again if BTC does capsize from this current zone, and considering we are in the weekend. So ideally, what we want to look at is either a no trade zone 100%, or we're looking into shorting the market. So for guys who are in MKRO, like myself, Wi-Fi from there about Wednesday, we're going to jump into that and see how well those trades are or how bad they are and make a decision. We don't want to hold a bag that is not performing so well. So let's jump. I'm going to go into my own Tafa and see what that is. Right. Okay, so starting first with Wi-Fi, if I go into my board Wi-Fi, okay, I'm gonna see I'm at 0.8% in Wi-Fi of my capital, which for me is pretty nothing considering the profit that we've previously made from Wi-Fi. So having a 0.8% minus is literally nothing. So there's no, earlier it was way lesser than this. So it was about 0.03 when BTC was approaching 27 before Wi-Fi decided to keep capsizing. Now, this is one trade I really do not want us to hold on to. Although Wi-Fi has not utilized a lot of our position, if we do count our entries here, we started Wi-Fi at $9,590 right over here. That's where we got our first entry. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more entries into Wi-Fi. We have a total of 8 entries. So we still do have 3 more entries to go. Now, if you do want your Wi-Fi to just keep taking more trades, so you have more of your 3 entries into the market. So if the market does recover after the weekend, by Monday, you're going to be making some profit. That is totally fine. But ideally, I would prefer to take a 0.8% a loss and make the profits back than to hold the market at the risks of the market dropping. Now, as you see, the price just changed. It just moved to 0.89 and then is now $44 out of 5,000. The price is still dropping a little bit. So what I want to do on Wi-Fi, is to totally cut it out. So I'm going to edit my bot. I'm going to go to Wi-Fi strategy 1. I'm going to switch it from relaxed to conservative, and then I'm going to say conservative stop loss 0.1. So what this means is it's going to shut down this Wi-Fi trade. But if we do want to give it a lot, much more space to breathe, I'm going to say, okay, you want to stop at a 1%. We are currently 0.8. If Wi-Fi does decide to go up from here, that's fine. Then we could take our profit back. If not, do not exceed 1% of my capital. So we have a 1% stop over here. So I'm going to save this bot, and that is it about Wi-Fi. If the market does go down a little bit down forward, so we're going to have that stop loss of 1%. If not, that is going to be it about Wi-Fi. So the same thing should apply to Max and MKRO. Now for MKRO, I do reckon that we are in more than 1%. In MKRO, we are about, I'll just see that MKRO. I do have so much bots running. We have about so much bot running. Okay, so for MKRO, we do have let me know if you can still hear me. I got cut off for a while. Let me know if you can still hear me. Okay, you can. Perfect. All right. So you want to do the same with MK Arrow. So looking at MK Arrow chart, we did take some shorts on that, and the shorts took profit right about here. And the short started from here. The price did go down. Then for guys who also took a long, did take profit up to this point, but for others who are still on MKRO and your entry is right about here, if you did take the MKRO trade from long ago, your entry is right about here right now. So that is a 10% move from MKRO, keeping you at about a 3% minus. That is also one trade we want to create like we did with Wi-Fi, to make sure that if the market does chooses to keep going down, we are not affected. So you want to do that right away. Updates like I just did with Wi-Fi and cut out that trade if it does chooses to go down more. Then we have the max trade. Now, for max, all the longs are done. We do have only short trades that are still on. And we really do not want to touch that because we are going more on the shorts today. Now, I did explain why. As much as BTC is very solid, we can already see it's trying to break out of the support zone over here. And we do see altcoin having no volume at all. So that is bad, which is why we're cutting off those longs. So if you're in a short for max, there's nothing you need to do. It's going to be a good thing that you're taking much more profit. So let's jump into other shorts that we want to take for today. Now, I did say, ideally, there are two scenarios to this week trade, is that you either decide to say, no, I'm not taking a trade till Monday, which is a good thing. Sometimes no trading is good, but if you are a risk trader, say, okay, I'm still going to take some risks because the probability are in my favor, which the probability of shorting altcoins right now looks pretty good to ignore. So you want to take up the shorts that we are going to be showing right away. And I'm going to be taking also the same short right away. So if you have a short for max, there's nothing you want to do about that. If you have only a long, you're only creating a stop for that. Then we do have news for HNT, and we saw Binance saying they're going to delist HNT. So let's go right there. We do have that. Now, if Binance is going to delist the coin, which is very unfortunate, they are going to close all your position on that coin. So what you want to do for HNT is also to cut out that trade. That is quite an unfortunate trade that Binance is deciding to delist the token. So you want to cut out that trade since Binance is delisting that. Now, I did say that for the user who is asking, I'm just hearing about auto deleveraging. I don't know what it is. Auto deleveraging is a new function that totally saves your trade if the market is going bad. Now, an instance of what auto deleveraging did for me is that in the last market dump of Wi-Fi, where Wi-Fi did a 50% dump, I had about $5,000 into Wi-Fi, and it was on about 20% loss, which was like $1,000 loss on Wi-Fi. And after Wi-Fi did a 50% dump. Now, because of the martingale calculator, our setup is super safe, super amazing. We're not afraid of the market dumping because of the martingale calculator. Gives us a really good setup. But in such large dump, your capital could get stuck for a while until Wi-Fi finally recovered. Now, in the same scenario, Wi-Fi also did the same dump from the same price up to the price it went to. If we go to Wi-Fi, now I did have the same capital into the market, but I am only in the maximum loss when Wi-Fi was dumping really bad. I was only at about a $150 loss, as against the previous time that Wi-Fi dumped and I was at minus $2,000. So auto deleveraging takes out the risks of leveraging. So if you have a serious dump like that, your capital will be saved out of that trade. So to apply for that, you want to send a message to futures@tafabot.com. You're going to find it in the chat right now. You want to send a message to futures, and they're going to have that turned on for you. A user is asking, why is Binance delisting the token? There are several reasons for that. We didn't go into the details. We did see the news really late, just into this meeting. So you also want to read that out. It was posted on their channel that they will be delisting that token. There could be several reasons for that. Yeah, so a user is asking, can we set strategy 1 just like I did? Yes, that is what I do advise for you to do. For MKRO Wi-Fi, strategy 1, that's all. And if you want to put a stop loss, then I did put a stop loss at 1 for Wi-Fi. I'm at 0.8. So if Wi-Fi goes 1%, it's going to cut out that trade and shut down the bot. Let's jump right into taking what shorts we might want to have for today. Now, amazingly, MKRO is part of the short that we're going to be taking because it has proven to be really weak. Despite all the pump, it couldn't reclaim the first zone over here. So it's going to be part of the altcoins that could have a heavy dump once the market pushes down. Now, I did state there are several reasons for the market to push down. And also yesterday, we saw that the USD money flow is currently hitting a zone support right over here, and we're bouncing back right up. So that is going to be a lot of take profit for a lot of traders to cash out their earning from altcoins. So you could have more down for altcoins. Okay, so let's head back into our setup as usual. Again, we have the 24 hours liquidation that happened in the global market. We have $158 million liquidated, and a lot of them was from 78% of them was from short positions. So short have had their hits, like long did have their hits last week. So the market could be hunting for long positions again. And let's look at that. Why could the market be hunting for that? We're going to look into the liquidation level and position in the current market, and we'll see reasons why the market could be hunting for retail long. So look at my screen. What you see over here is a delta flow of the position in the market right now at different levels. So we could see from over here, this whole part, what you're seeing over here is a whole lot of longs, happening around here. And at this point, you're seeing a tiny bit of short. You see the bubble blue over here is tiny bit of shorts that are still yet to be liquidated at the point of BTC hitting $27,500. So if BTC hits that, we will totally be clearing out all the short position in the market, meaning that there is a lot of bubbles long position that the market could try hunting for. And don't forget that a lot of time the market is always big institution against retail traders. So when you see all of this, the retail traders can access these data. These are premium data. For example, anyone could subscribe to Hyperblock and see all of the data in the market. It costs about $200, $500 in a month. So you could subscribe for that also yourself. And you see all of the positions that there is a whole lot of positions that could get liquidated once Bitcoin start dropping to 26,500 and all of that. There's a long position happening around here. And as you keep going, you see a lot of long that's going to be liquidated from 26,300 and down. So the market could finally start hunting for these big bubble longs over here. And you don't want to be part of those long odds that could clear off the markets. So in our probability level, we do have more reasons to be on the short side. And I did say if the market does go long, we have a short long frame that the market can go as against the markets going downward. So if you are in any long trade, what I did say is you want to create strategy one, you want to put a stop loss conservative, and I showed how to do that. Now, if the market goes upward, that is a good thing. You're going to take the profit. If not, it's going to take you out of that market. Like for Wi-Fi, I did set a 1% loss, which is like literally minute. Okay, so first that we want to go into in our shorts, all of these trades are still the same that we did set, and we're going to look into them right away. Let's go straight into the chart, and we see all of the long that we did set for most of this coin has achieved their reach, apart from several coins that couldn't achieve that. Which one of them is MKRO? So we have APE that did try breaking into the bullish zone, but couldn't achieve the height of it. So it's going to form one of our short targets, seeing that it was weak to achieve that, and several other markets that we are going to be looking into. So I'm going to give a minute to ensure that you do that if you've not done it yet. For markets like Wi-Fi or any other markets that you are in a long, you can still hold the long, like I said, but we could have a little bit pullback during the weekend. So what you want to do is create a stop loss into that. So you want to do that right away while we head into taking up new trades. Now, for today also, we're going to be having higher strategy period because we're running into the weekend. So if the market chooses to go downward, it's going to go down throughout the weekend. So we're going to have higher strategy period to take in much more profits. Same for the user asking about TOMO. If you are in a short, fine. If you are in a long, I did state what you want to do. Also for the user asking about MKRO, I did state what you want to do about that right away. So while you're doing that, we want to take up shorts in several markets that are currently looking promising in the short. Number one is the APE. So we're going to be targeting an APE 22 price movements for a short on the 10S with a strategy period 10. So you want to take up that trade right away. I'm going to leave that in your screen to make sure we create the setup. And I'm going to go to my Tafa to make this same setup. So you want to set up for APE right away. APE, we're doing 22. This is for futures. Remember, we're not long in this, and I did state why. If we head back to the chart, again, we're going to see APE couldn't even, despite the pump of Bitcoin, couldn't reclaim into our first level of bullish move over here. So that is something to be worried about, why you don't want to keep a long on that. So you want to create that setup right away. And I'm going to put that back in your screen. So what we're looking for APE is to target, if APE does decide to still go bullish, remember it couldn't even reclaim our first bullish zone. If it does chooses to still go bullish, we could have APE stock at our first bullish zone, which is a 13% movement, very, very minute. But we're targeting a 22% over here. So if it does go extremely bullish, we will be safe with our setup. Now, if it does chooses to dump, we are also targeting the first move over here for an 11% dump that is going to be closing our 10 strategies. User Paul, you're asking, how do you add more capital? Please let me know what you mean about adding more capital. So back to that setup, I want to put it in your screen. Again, let me know if that is done. I have mine turned on right away, and we move to the next setup. Okay, next is for MK Arrow. Let's go over to MK Arrow chart again. Now, MK Arrow, we did say, is one of the market that is so weak. It tried going over the bullish zone, but still failed again. And that level of multiple retests and failure is not a good indication for a market that is going to perform super well. And there are also bearish indications on altcoin. So it is one of the market we're going to be shorting. And what we do expect MK Arrow to do is to get around $670 around this zone over here, where we're going to be taking out all of the profit for 10 strategies. Okay, I'm going to put back MK Arrow in your screen so you see the setup once more, and we push for that. So we're targeting 31. If you have capital lesser than $200, you have 6 as average. Above that, you have 3 as average, and you want to create strategy 10 right away. I'm going to go straight into my MK Arrow. Now, I do have a long, which I did state that you want to set a stop loss on. Now, I still have that. And right now, it's in about 3% minus. Now, that also is one trade that I've created a stop for, and I'm also setting my short on that trade. So user Paul, you're asking, how do you add more capital to a trade? It's really simple. It's really simple to do that. What you need to do is go to the calculator again, use the same setup that you did. This time, impute $200 instead of 100. It's going to give you your whole setup, and you impute that into your strategy. Just update it, and it does update that. But if all your strategies are done, let's say you created strategy period 5 and that has fully completed, what you want to do is to extend the strategy to something more than 5, let's say 8. So you now have more entries into the market. Okay, user Jeremy, you're asking, you have APE running already on a short from yesterday, and it was strategy 5. Do you increase it to 10? Yes, move it to 10 because we are in the weekend, and we want to run the trade throughout the weekend, and we're going to be meeting on Monday to review that. Okay, back to the APE. I see a lot of persons are still asking about that before MK Arrow. I'm going to skip back to APE. APE is back on your screen. So look at the setup and create setup for APE before we move to MK Arrow. If you do miss the setup during the live, you also want to join the group where we do post all of the setup. I'm going to send the group into the chat or Zoom chat right away. So you want to join that group where we do post every single update. Feel free to chat there how your trade is doing. We kind of make the group very, very simple, very open, that you can interact, you can have a good chat. So it's beyond just announcement. It's a community for you to talk trade. Okay, I want to believe you've captured the APE, so I could go straight to MK Arrow for those who have not, to also capture that. So we're back to MK Arrow and you want to take that. Don't forget the chat is still open on Zoom. You want to send those feedback. We want to know how this is impacting you positively or negatively so we could improve. All right. Let me know if you've taken up the APE, you've taken up the MK Arrow, and we can move to the next setup for today. MK Arrow, we're doing 31. If you have capital lesser than $200, you're doing 6. Above that, you're doing 3. Strategy is 10. APE is already delivering profits. If you did take that trade right away, it's already delivering its first profit. Okay, user is asking, can I run my bot for MK Arrow? Yes, you can run your bot for any of the market. That's why we're giving the market for you to run your bot. If you didn't catch the setup, it's always going to be in the group, so we could move forward into our next setup for AVVE again. Once more, we're pulling AVVE on the shorts. Let's look into the charts and see why should we short AVVE. So AVVE is one of the guys that we did create a long for, took some profits. Now it has approached our first zone over here, but still super weak, not able to go above that. So that is a super potential short also, considering all we've shown about the market. So we're still looking for AVVE dropping back into the bearish zone. So we're creating that short for AVVE. Back into the AVVE screen for AVVE, we're targeting 27.3, and I want to go ahead into my setup. Users asking, for those of MK Arrow open, what should you do? I already stated that you want to create a stop loss on that. If MK Arrow does go, right now it's on 3%, you want to say, okay, 5% from here, shut it out. If not, you want to stop it now and take the short side. This is the beauty of futures, that you are able to run both sides of the trade, as against spot that keeps you restricted to only the markets moving upward. All right, I'm going straight into setting up my AVVE, AAVE, AVVE short, 27.3. Go over to the martingale calculator. If you don't have the martingale calculator, I'm going to put that in the chart. Again, this is it. All you need to do is put in the capital, say 27.3, leverage 10. Make sure auto deleveraging is turned on and push, and it gives you your whole setup for your martingale strategy. So I just posted that again in the charts for everyone. I'm going to be turning on my AVVE right away, strategy period 10, leverage 10, save, and start. Okay, let me know if you've taken that trade and we can move forward to more other trades. Now, as traders, you have to note that you should be excited when you call off a trade because you don't want to be a bag holder. So if a trade is not going in the direction, it shouldn't be emotional to call off that trade to say, okay, like we're doing with Wi-Fi, it is better to take a 1% loss that you're going to make back in a day than to hold a trade that just keeps you stuck if the trade is not moving in the direction that it should go. So you want to do that right away. Yes, user is asking, I have ocean long that has not completed. Yes, you can do the same thing, close that, take the new trade and make profit from the new trade. I want to believe we also have captured AVVE setup. And we can proceed to the next setup. If you didn't capture any of this, once again, it is always posted in the group for you. So you're going to find that in the Telegram group, which is already posted in the charts. AVVE, we're tracking 27.3 again, and my bot is on. It's already delivering results for AVVE just by starting it. The same with APE is also delivering results. MKRO is doing the same. Wi-Fi is about hitting stop loss. We are not setting a short for Wi-Fi. Please don't mix that. We only created a stop loss if Wi-Fi does fail to hit a 1% stop and close. We are not creating a stop loss, a new trade for Wi-Fi. All right. Let me know you've taken this trade and we can proceed to the next one, which is our guy Ocean. Let's head to the Ocean chart and see why should we short Ocean. For the same reason as every other market. They still tried going into the bullish zone, but absolutely flopped from it. So we're expecting a more downward movement from Ocean. So that also constitutes our shorts for that. So Ocean, we're tracking 32. And if you have capital way below $200, you have 6 average, and above you have 3, strategy 10. You want to create that right away. All right. Okay, someone said for AVVE, I'm using a strategy, a capital of $100. I believe you want to have more first entry capital. So you're asking, can you use 22? Let's go to the AVVE charts again. So AVVE, we have different a zone. The first zone is 11, second is 22, third is 35. We're capturing the longest zone. And the reason we do that, if the market does fail, to be safe, right? It doesn't stop us from capturing the short-term zone. So for such user asking, AVVE couldn't reclaim the first zone, it only means you're going to be having more capital in the market if it does go against. But yes, you can go for the 22 zone. That is fine. If AVVE does fail and goes above that, means you're going to be waiting till it does reclaim this zone again. But for others using the highest zone, your capital is spread across to cover up for the maximum movement that the coin can ever do. Now, if you've been following our setup, you notice no market ever goes outside our maximum movement. So if we say this market is going to have a maximum for 32, 35, whatever, that is the maximum it ever does. So if you have your capital spread using that, you're always safe. So back to your screen on the setup to make sure you don't miss it. Ocean setup, I want to go head straight and turn on my Ocean trade. You're asking what zone is advisable. I said, yes, you could go for the 22. It is fine. You only want to have more capital into the market. That's why you want to go for 22. So the calculator is going to give you more capital in the market because you're covering a shorter zone. It's still fine. And I did explain what is the difference between short zone and long zone. Okay, I want to go straight into turning on my Ocean bot. Ocean setup. Ocean short strategy period 10. Save. Ocean startup. Okay, for the user who is asking for MKRO, I didn't set a 1% for MKRO. I set a 1% for Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi is on 0.8. Now Wi-Fi is, I'll just cross-check how many percentage that is. Wi-Fi is on 0.9. So I said a 1%, cut it out. I didn't do the same for MKRO because MKRO is way already at 3%. So I did say a 5%. So if you are on minus that PNL means you are at 3% already. So a 1% is that you're telling it stop your bot right away. You don't care if the market does recover a little bit. Okay, my Ocean is started up. Make sure you've taken that. So for MKRO again, you're asking, you can have a 5% stop, and that is absolutely a very good stop. If the market does go wrong for a 5%, it calls your trade off. AVVE is already going on its second trade. That is interesting. And Ocean is also performing super well instantly. All of our shorts are doing well. And if you're holding all of those long and the market is not looking like it like we've seen, there's nothing wrong in calling off a trade that you can make the capital back than holding it because you don't want to call off a 1% trade when you could make 1% instantly and you're holding on to a 1% and you're wasting 2-3 more days. In fact, one of the good things we should be doing about our setup is once a trade starts invalidating, we just call it off and move on to more trade that makes us money. Okay, next is TOMO. So a user did ask about TOMO, what to do. Let's jump on the TOMO charts. So TOMO is also one of the guys that tried, all of these guys are just using the same system, tried breaking into there and failed again. So we're still taking a short on TOMO for that. It's failing off our bullish zone. So I'm going to put TOMO back on your screen. Now, you don't want to be obligated to take all of the setup. So we're giving like 5 or 10 setup and you want to take all the 10, you could pick 5, you could take 4. You should not be obligated to take all of them. But if you do have a lot of capital to spread across, then that is a good thing. A user NS, you're asking, are we shorting Wi-Fi? No, we only created a stop loss on Wi-Fi. We did not short Wi-Fi, and we are not shorting Wi-Fi for very obvious reason. We are only shorting coins that are showing weakness, not for Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi doesn't have that level of weakness like other coins. It's just static. That's why it's still on less than 1% minus. It's just a static coin. So TOMO is on your screen. We're running a price movement 24 and 3 average. So you want to take up the TOMO setup. And after TOMO, we do have Max also. So we want to take up TOMO and we're going to move into Max. So that is still on your screen for TOMO. Head right back into the chart. So Max, why are we shorting it? Is one of the coins that has moved way over into our bullish zone on the fourth zone and did fail at that point. Now, considering every other market also that failed, Max does have a relatively more support than other markets like we've seen. It was one of the markets that was able to reclaim its fourth zone, but still failing at that point. So if you're thinking of markets that are going to deliver more than the other for short, you want to go for market that couldn't reclaim their zone at all. Those are market that has higher possibility to deliver more because they couldn't reclaim their zone. For Max, it's only failing off its zone. So if you were to choose between those markets, you want to go for market that even couldn't recover their zone. But Max does give us a good short also into the market. So you want to take that as well. So I'm going to leave that back on your screen for the user who did ask, how do we know the ones that has higher capacity for profit? That's why I did explain that. So you want to make sure you got the TOMO already and the chat room is still open. I could see all the message and you could keep sending all those feedbacks. Right. Trust we already got this and we're going to be moving to Max setup. Okay. That is there. Okay, user said, I'm still on Max from previous days profits. Can I edit it or leave it be? No, you want to edit to the new setup. Last time was strategy 5. This is strategy 10. Please always pay attention to the setup here. There changes from time to time. So it's not because we're trading the same market means they are the same setup. They change from time to time. So you want to update to what it currently is. Let me know if that is done. Once again, just to preview, we did take a setup for APE if you missed it, and we did take a setup for MK Arrow. We did take a setup for AVVE. We did take a setup for Ocean. We did take a setup for TOMO. We did take a setup for Mask. So if you missed any of those, you want to get it again. So I did state in the early hours of our meeting that we're also looking into a new version for auto deleverage. The first version is just out a couple weeks, and we could see how excellent that is. That delivers your capital when the market goes wrong. So even if you're on a relaxed kind of strategy, you could actually be on relaxed and you're not worried, because auto delivery saves your capital. And I did make an example of that in a scenario where I wasn't using auto delivery. In a 50% dump, I was on -20 with my strategy. At the same time, with auto delivery, I was just on there about -3. So that is something beautiful. But we're also updating that to improve further, as we're going to see in the new app. We're still looking into that. Once it goes through some level of beta testing phase, we're going to make it open to those who are also joining the live. And finally, all of those are going to be on the app. Now, the new system does allow you much more capital into the market as against the current system. So it is much more aggressive into much profit taking than the current auto deleverage. But that requires also some level of stop if the market does go against you, but not like the kind of stop we have without auto delivery. So we're still looking into that for those who are saying, I want to take the maximum level of risks and I want to make 20%, 30%, 100% every day. Yes, you can use auto delivery in a new version that is more aggressive. For those who are saying, I love what I have right now, I'm making daily profits with zero risks, that is still available. So we're going to give two options that allows you to choose auto deleveraging, normal or aggressive. And we do explain what both of them mean. Now, in an instance of part of our beta testing for the new auto deleverage, I'll just share my screen and show you right away. I want to trust that you've taken the setup. It's going to be in the charts also after now, and the Zoom chat is also open as we're speaking, talking about this new development. You want to send your feedbacks. They are very helpful because Tafa is all about you, and we want to make sure we are doing that, serving you the best way we can. So I'm going to push back to my screen. Okay, so back to my Tafa. Now, this is my AVVE trade for aggressive auto deleverage. And this is not AVVE, sorry, my APE trade for aggressive auto deleverage. And down here is my APE trade for auto deleverage normal. So auto deleverage normal, in one trade, the APE was taking $3.5, $12, $10 in one trade. Now switch it back to auto deleverage aggressive. APE was taken in one trade, $64, $58, and the rest. So those are stuff that we are still looking into, and we could make it available for you to choose between auto deleveraging normal and auto deleveraging aggressive. So I'm heading back into the Zoom charts to go through once more. Okay, a user, you're asking, you do have an error saying API key invalid or no permission. What you want to do is two possibilities. Number one is either your exchange, Binance, like I can see from your screen, has invalidated your API, or you have an IP address change. Now, for every Tafabot users, you have a unique IP that you bind to your API. So you want to check your account and ensure that you still do have that IP address in your exchange tab for binding, and cross-check that same IP with Binance. If it's still the same, If it's not, or it is expired, you want to get the new one and rebind, or you want to chat support to give you a new binding IP if you don't have one showing in your account. So that is what it is saying. You want to reach out to support. Okay, I see a user commenting on the auto deleverage aggressive. Tafabot keeps building. This is impressive. Yes, we keep building. That is our goal, to keep building. Okay, another user, I've not been able to see auto deleveraging in my app. I've sent Tafabot mail and yet to receive response. If you've not, I'm going to check with the team that is handling that, and you should get a response in an hour time. But you don't see auto deleveraging inside your app because it is not in the current app. This is only a pre-access version, so you will not see it in the app. You'll see it in the new Tafabot app coming. Okay, another user said, what is the downside of auto deleveraging aggressive? I know that is going to be a question. So what is the downside if the trade does go bad as against the auto deleveraging normal that saves all my trade from going bad? So the downside is that auto deleveraging aggressive pumps in more capital into the market, uses the best of leverage if the market is going fine, takes in a lot of profit if the market does chooses to go bad. It sells out some of your capital, deleverage you again. For example, in one of my trade, auto deleveraging, put in $10,000 capital in aggressive when he saw the market was going fine, and took a profit when the market started going bad. It withdrew the capital, recreated the trade for a $700 capital instead of $10,000. So it switches that. Now, the downside to that is, that we've noticed why it's still in beta is if the traders decide to go full-blown against you, as against the current auto deleveraging, that a market goes maybe 50% dump and you are on 3%, it is still mind-blowing how that happens, right? And you're on 3%. With aggressive, you're going to be way more than 3%. So you could be on 10%, you could be on 20% in a 50% market move. So when we're going to release aggressive, we will recommend aggressive to have a stop loss. So it means in aggressive, if you're trading with $10,000, you can be making $1,000 every day. That is a stupid amount of money to make per day if all your setup goes as planned. If your setup goes wrong, which sometimes it does, and you have to be aware of that, you're going to need a stop loss. You could say a 10% stop loss to take you out of the market, and that would be it. So that is the downside. As against relax mode for auto deleverage normal, we cannot use relax mode for auto deleverage aggressive. You could see the capital level, the profit level, as against here, making $10 in one trade to making $60, $69 in one trade. The difference is quite large. Okay, users are asking again for the setup screen. I'm going to move there. The chat is still open if you do have questions or feedback on what we just talked about. User, please post Max setup. Let's go to Max. Max is right on your screen. User Paul, I hope I did answer your question on the downside of aggressive mode when we do release that. Another user, please, I'm new here. How do I set up my trade? Thanks. What you want to do for that user, you want to join the chats group. I'm going to send the group again into you. You want to join that and you want to chat right over there. You're going to have a lot of community member guide you on how to set up from the scratch. There are also training sections happening today that guides you on how to set up only. So if you're new, you want to learn how do you do this thing from scratch, from setting up the trade. I want to post that group link to you right now. So after you've learned how to create the setup, when next you're joining us by Monday, you'll be able to start taking all of the setup right away. So user Raymond, I did just message you the group that you want to join. Okay, for another user say, how do I get the settings now? I can't effect it, but I can find it on the app. I did say auto deleveraging is not on the app. If you did request it via mail, it's going to be activated for you. You get a confirmation that it's activated. It's a pre-access that we're giving to people who joined the live. We did not announce it. Other Tafabot users, over 20,000 users, does not know this exists. You are only knowing because you joined the live. So you could request for it by sending a mail to futures@tafabot.com. I just sent you that mail again. So you just get a confirmation that it's active for you, and that is all. In the new app, you will be able to see it directly on your app. Okay, another user, let's Tafabot help low capital users. So like I did say, low capital users right now in all of the setup. By low capital, I believe you mean like $100 trading capital you're currently making from all of the setup. If you're taking it, except when the trade does go bad and you have to wait to recover that, you're making, let's say, 3% in a day. That is an absolutely good profit. At the end of the month, you are approximately getting 90% of your capital. So that is a really good profit. But if you do want to make more, let's say, okay, you have $100, you want to make $10 every day, you want to make, that is 10% of your capital. So in 10 days, at the end of the month, you've done 300, 500%. That's fine. You are going to have auto deleveraging aggressive to use. Okay, user Christopher, you've changed your auto strategy period to 1 for MKRO. I did say if you want it to stop, meaning a stop loss, you want to change to conservative and put a stop loss there. If the market keeps going downward, for it to take a stop loss while you're taking the new trades that we're giving today. So I hope that is absolutely clear. All right, Star fans, we've been able to take in a lot of questions. I see a lot of message. Aggressive, here we go. Users just want to take a lot of the risk. Like, okay, aggressive, here we go. We want to make 500% in a month. So that is fine. That's going to be an option for you. Say, I want to go aggressive, but the criteria would be you must have a stop loss if the market goes bad. Waiting for aggressive, a lot of message, waiting for aggressive. Okay. Another user, how many trades can I take for $100? It depends. Ideally, I want to say you want to stick with one trade. So you have your whole $100 in one trade. It gives you all the profit that trade can give. Let's say $1 to $3 a day, depending on how the market move. If it does go more, fine. This is on the grounds of auto deleveraging normal. When we do give out aggressive, possibly you could see $5 to $10 in a day, but that will be with a stop if the market goes negatively. So you want to stick with 1 to 2 trade maximum in a day for $100 capital. Now, I do trade with way over 100K capital, and I try not to go way above 10 trade most of the time. So you really don't want to over trade a lot, but diversifying your capital is a good thing when you do have a lot of capital. Okay, we still do have a lot of users asking, please, when can we increase the number of trade for starter license to 10? We're still discussing about that internally. There are several reasons. It's not because we want to place restriction on, hey, you cannot use 10 bots because you bought a $100 license. That is not the reason. The reason is each of the bots is allocated to a server, and that server does cost a lot to run with $100 per year. We are one of the cheapest bots that is using the level of technology that we're using and still give subscription as low as $100 per year. So that takes a lot of data space for us. So it's not because we want to restrict you, but because this costs us more than it's envisioned to cost. So we're still looking for that. So let's head straight into the setup group. We want to post all the setup right away for those who missed it. We still have message saying, please Ocean setup once again in the screen. For a minute, I'm just going to put it, but we want to run straight into the group, call it a day, and take all the setups there. Okay, another user, I have 1,500 capital. How many trades can I use? Is there something I'm doing wrong? I need to roll up with the team. So if you have $1,500 capital, what I would say is stick to 3 trades. Put in $500 into each of the trade. That would be good. So you have maximum capital into each of the trade. Okay, Mr. Solomon said, God bless you, Samuel, for the simplicity. Thank you very much. I'm glad we'll help to Tafabot. So let's call it a day, guys. Let's head to the group. We keep conversation going in the Telegram group as the chat goes during the week. We're going to keep updating up to Monday, where we're going to meet again. So this is going to be it for today. Catch you all. Let's go make some much more profits. Cheers, guys. See you in the Telegram group.